And you're gonna love it.
Welcome to Breakfast of Imbeciles, the thinking man's analysis of giant hamster balls, lunch lady larceny, ham, and all the other hard-hitting stories cable news doesn't want you to hear.
No, it's not.
It's different. It's unusual.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, Breakfast of Imbeciles.
Oh, that's right. Here we are once again.
Oh, man.
Tuesday morning here for Breakfast of Imbeciles. Every Tuesday and Thursday on Griffin Radio. I'm not DJ Thunderstruck.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that means I'm DJ Lunchbox.
Oh, man.
Wow.
I am DJ Lunchbox.
We're swapping personalities today.
I am DJ Lunchbox here with my friend
DJ Thunderstruck. Yes. The one and only.
God, it's like Freaky Friday. You're like Jamie Lee Curtis sitting over there.
Oh, I could only wish. I wish I love her hair.
Don't forget, you guys can check us out on our Facebook page at Griffin Radio 119. Our Instagram account is Griffin Radio SD. And, of course, you can always hear us on the Griffin Radio channel on the TuneIn app for your Android and iPhone. And if you're lucky, you'll actually know which one of us is actually speaking at a time, because I have no freaking idea who I am this morning.
Having a bit of an identity crisis
tonight. It has been a struggle
today.
Since I woke up today, let me tell you.
Oh, my goodness. You didn't have your coffee, did you? Or your morning wine?
No, I had some coffee. I didn't get to spike it. I didn't get to have...
oh, man.
Yeah. Usually I use a little bit of whiskey for mouthwash, but not this morning, unfortunately.
Yeah, see, you're messing up the routine.
So I've come to realize today that just actually as of about 20 minutes ago, 16 minutes ago to be exact, that the whole unconditional love and support thing from your parents probably has an expiration date on it.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
that's finally just come to me. My mom texted me this morning to say that she wanted to listen to the show at 10 o'clock.
All right.
And we, as you know, we start our show at 9.
Yeah, true.
It ends at 10 o'clock. So I'm not feeling the love there. So good burn, Mom. Good burn. She's just got other things to do, and God bless her.
Woman.
Godspeed. So I'm not sure if we can have less than 0 listeners at this point, but I think we're getting pretty close to that threshold here.
I'm sure we have a few dozen. Come on.
I hope so.
They just sit in silence and listen to us. They're
judgingly
silently listening. Yes,
disapproving frowns, their eyebrows knitted together.
Well, I'm used to it.
Well,
if I don't get it from my mother, I'm getting it from the listeners.
You just don't feel right otherwise.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I was thinking we'd always have Mr. Cantorini check to see how many people are logged into the stream at any given point.
You know what? I feel like that's something I would want to know, but at the same time, I also probably wouldn't want to know.
I do want to know, because if I expect that we don't have anybody listening, any number greater than 1,
yeah,
to me is a win.
Well, someone's going to be taking some creative liberties if
he
finds out we're a couple of listeners.
We get 2 people listening. That's twice as many people as I was expecting.
Yeah, I just don't want you to go on a full Alex Jones rant.
That's all I want. I leave that to you. That's the magic of I Can't Believe It's Not News on Wednesdays at noon, hosted by our good friend here, Jesse Barrios.
The one and only.
But this also led me to another thought about Mr. Cantorini is I never know what to call him. Brian is too familiar. Professor Cantorini just sounds like too formal, because I've never had one of his classes.
Right.
And then calling him Mr. Cantorini just makes him sound like an old guy and me like I'm 10 years old. On the Andy Griffith show. Hi, Mr. Cantorini.
I feel like you're at that age, though, where you could just call somebody like by their first name as like a peer or something.
Well, I mean, that's a possibility if we're talking about the age range, but he's got some status. He's done some things. He's got some certifications. He's been teaching. He's done things.
That's very true. He doesn't look like he looks down at us, though. You know,
that's
he
not
looks
the
like
point.
He looks.
I want to be respectful of the man, so I was thinking I should just call him Chief Engineer. You know, something.
Or maybe Sir Brian.
Lord Brian of
Sir
Cantorini.
Brian, how are you today? There you go. See, it's formal and
Duke
it's
Brian
very,
of El Cajon.
It seems very formal and what's the word? Just casual, casual and formal.
Casually formal.
Casually formal.
Business casual. Okay.
There you go. Keeping it light.
That's.
Oh, we love you, Brian. If you're listening. Oh,
he's
have to
listen
listen
because he doesn't have a choice.
We're sorry.
So.
We're sorry you're forced to listen to us.
We're dragging him out into the light, kicking and screaming here when he just wants to hide in his office downstairs and do his work.
Oh, he's like, I just want to listen to country or something. I don't want to listen to these guys.
Let's listen to anything else.
Yeah, pretty much.
So my mans and I, we were driving out to get some dinner the other night. We went over to Urban Moe's in Hillcrest. Haven't been there in a long time.
You're so fancy.
Well, It's no Urban Moe's. Have you ever? Do you know what I'm talking
God,
about?
no.
It used to be a place called Hamburger Mary's. So
Okay.
if that, and also there's
Okay.
there's the back half of the building is called Kickers, and they do country western nights there. So that should kind of give you a hint about.
That sounds like a place I'd frequent.
So they've got pretty good food there. It's bar food. I mean, it's a restaurant and a bar,
Right.
and the food has actually gotten pretty good over the years. And I was just feeling a craving for. I hadn't been there in a few years, and they have a drink that they make called the Black Lemonade, which I really, really like.
Wow, sounds right up my alley.
It tastes like rainbow sherbet. I mean, it's more tart. It's not
okay.
it's not super sweet, but it's really good. Anyway, so we were heading down. They were driving down the freeway, and I'm holding his hand, and we're just kind of staring off. Well, he's driving. I'm staring off.
I hope so. I hope one of you's focusing on the road.
And it kind of clicked, and I turned to look, kind of looked at him off the side of side view, and said, next year in July, we'll have been together, or at least met for 10 years ago.
Wow.
And his hand went clammy. I was like, what the hell is that? And he's like, nothing. I'm just like, your hand is wet now after I said that. What is wrong with you? He said, you're going to talk about this on the show, aren't you? And I said, you bet your ass I am.
Oh, man.
I already had my phone out, was typing notes.
Oh, God. Poor guy.
Love you. He's working. He's not listening.
That's okay.
I'll have a chance to edit this part out later.
You can force him to listen to it later.
I'll have show number 21 and 21.5 that I'll upload just specifically for him. That'll be
There you go.
edited slightly. So yeah, that made me laugh.
Oh, man.
Now, I was kind of hoping to bring this up when B. Millie was here. I don't know if he's coming in this morning, but we'll just go and go. This isn't funny. This is just something that kind of annoyed me a little bit, because there's always this component of the show each week where I got to have something that just really...
We love the rants. I come for the rants.
And honestly, this isn't really anything important. It just got to me. So I know that not everyone is a video gamer here. I'm a gamer. I know B. Millie's a gamer in many different ways, tabletop, video, whatever.
Right.
You're a bit of a gamer too with your Xbox One.
Yeah, of course.
Did you see a couple of days ago that Square, the video game company Square, announced they were canceling the remaining 75% of the downloadable content for Final Fantasy 15?
Ooh, I did not hear about that.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
I am prefacing this with the huge fat bold asterisk that none of this is actually important in any way. It just annoys me. So let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, of course.
So I have kind of an ambivalent hate relationship with the game. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a gorgeous game. It's got a beautiful soundtrack. I mean, production-wise, it's absolutely gorgeous, and it's got a garbage story. Absolutely garbage story. Now, the game came out 2 years ago. 2 years ago this month. I think it was in it was on the 26th or something. In 2016. They are still releasing periodically more new DLC story content for the game.
Wow. So,
2 years after the fact, they're still releasing story content.
So to like the full story, or is it just like these little add-ons?
Well, that's the question, because when the game came out, it wasn't finished. When the game came out, it wasn't finished. The story was the ending didn't really make any sense.
So wow.
The game, it's broken up into a series of chapters. Chapter 13 is infamous in the game because for the first 12 chapters, it's this enormous open world, like this desert you can run around in. I mean, it's geographically enormous. Chapter 13, you basically just run down one long hallway for like 2 hours, and it just completely is out of tone for the whole rest of the game.
That seems really lazy.
So
Wow.
this is where my annoyance comes in. So the game came out in November.
Mm-hmm.
Several months later, they patched the game to quote-unquote fix Chapter 13 and fix the ending of the game. I've already finished the game by mid-December. Right. I'm done.
Yeah.
And so people like me, who are early adopters, get totally boned because now we're the supporting fans. We're the ones who are right there at the door to buy it as soon as it comes out, and we're the ones that get shafted because they couldn't be bothered to finish the game before releasing it. Now, here's the part that really grinds my gears. Throughout the gameplay, you're a group of 4 friends, like kind of a Backstreet Boys -1, traveling around the desert trying to do a thing. Right. Now, each of you play one main character, and then you have 3 companion characters at different points throughout the game. I know, bear with me. This will be over in a minute.
No, it's fine.
Throughout the game, at periodic points, each one of those characters just leaves. They say, I'll be right back, I have to go do a thing, and they're gone. They just leave you, and then they come back a little while later, some point as the story has progressed. And they allude to having gone off and done some kind of amazing personal journey. One of them comes back with all sorts of scars and like his hair is different, and and you don't know what happens unless you buy a $5 expansion pack for that character to find out what their adventure was off the side of the game.
Wow, that's greedy.
Okay, so let me break this down for you.
Jesus Christ.
The game itself, when it came out, is $60, which I paid.
Right.
There are 3 characters that each go off on their own little expansion for $5 each. That's another $15.
Mm-hmm.
Then they release something called the Royal Pack, which adds new places to explore, which is another $15. They added a virtual reality fishing game, which is not necessary to the game. It's just something additional to do with the little Sony VR headset thing.
Right.
That's $30.
Wow.
They're adding a 4th character expansion next year, which is another $5 likely because it's another character thing. They canceled 3 character expansions, which would have been another $15. So if you had bought this game from the beginning and all of the expansions and other DLC content that came out, it's $140. It gets worse.
Yikes.
It gets worse. So if you have been an early adopter, and every time one of these little items came out and purchased them, you are out $100 because they released a full $40 version of the game that contains all of this on the disc. Called the Royal Edition.
Oh, I would be heated, honestly.
So yeah, and the thing is, all of these content, the Royal Edition came out, I believe it was just this last March.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this other stuff, except for the upcoming, except for the upcoming character expansion. So anyway, it just bothers me so much, and that's a particular franchise that I have been a fan of since I was 14, and they are just completely monetizing it. It's not even pretending that it's anything but a money machine now, and it just really bugs me.
That's very greedy. I hate companies that do that sort of stuff. Like, it seems like very lazy, writing, the story, just having the people just go off screen for no reason. It seems like they are just trying to find a way to, monetize this game.
And the thing is, there are other games that do that kind of expansion legitimately, like the Dark Souls series. They will have a full game, and then they actually come out with something that has nothing to do with the rest of the main game, and it's just simply extra adventuring.
Yeah,
and I get that.
Yeah, that always makes sense, yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with that because I know that this wasn't something they decided to come up with after the fact. All DLC these days is planned. So they'll release the game, and we already know that the extra parts of the game are coming out anyway. But in that case, I kind of get it because it doesn't have anything to do with the game.
Right.
However, the character expansions in this Final Fantasy game, they specifically talk about in the main campaign of the game. But these the 3 character expansions didn't come out until several months after the game had been released in the first place.
Right.
So you're teased playing the game, finding out, oh, I guess they went off and did something interesting, and you don't even get to find out what it was until months later, and you pay for it.
Wow.
So
that's horrible.
End of rant. That's my soapbox on that.
Shame on them.
And so they had been planning on. They're still planning on releasing DLC into 2019. So
they're really milking this bad boy.
Yeah, and that's what all of us, I guess standard fans are complaining about. It's like, why are they putting all the resources into stretching out the thin soup of this game, which wasn't great to begin with?
Yeah,
and not starting the next game.
Wow. I can only imagine what the next one's going to look like.
The next one's just going to have a big Visa logo right there above the actual title.
Oh, man.
Brought to you by Staples.
It's going to have a level specifically.
A Final Fantasy adventure.
It's just going to have a level of you taking out your wallet and just giving them your credit card number. There you go. Level 1. You
know what? It's funny you say that. I don't want to go off on a long tear about this, but there was another game I played which I actually had to stop playing because it made me so uncomfortable. The game starts, something happens, your character, it's all tongue-in-cheek, so it's sort of cartoony. Your character is injured, and then he basically wakes up out of his coma, and he's got this, like, $2 billion hospital bill.
Okay.
So your character basically has a credit monitoring service and, like, a bill collector that calls you in the game periodically to say, hey, you need to pay your bill.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that says you have to do it right now. She just pops up, hi, by the way, your bill is due. But you can't move further in the game unless you pay up to certain amounts of money, and then it unlocks like the next area you can move into. So like the borders are closed to you unless the credit company in this game thinks you're trustworthy enough to be allowed to move further away from the city from which you started.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God, it stressed me out so much. I'm like, dude, if I want to do this, I'll just take my cell phone off silent to start answering the phone.
It's like, I don't need to play this, I'm living it.
Yeah.
What an odd game.
I was like, if you give the character high cholesterol and add 30 pounds, then it might as well just, be a mirror.
Yeah. Wow, what a strange concept for a game.
Yeah, so I was really uncomfortable about that. So on that happy note, we'll take a break here. This is Breakfast of Imbeciles on Tuesday and Thursday on Griffin Radio. We will be right back, guys. This song will never fail to make me happy.
It makes me want to investigate a murder.
It really does.
Maybe my own.
I just picture a trench coat and a fedora.
I want to smoke a pipe now.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good, too.
There you go.
Welcome back, everybody, to Breakfast of Imbeciles here on Griffin Radio every Tuesday and Thursday from 9 to 10 a.m. And I'm your host, DJ Lunchbox, frankly.
Well, with the insufferable DJ Thunderstruck.
Yeah.
Woo!
I don't think you know what that word means.
I'm an amazing person. Leave me alone.
That's true. You are a special flower.
Yeah.
You are one of a kind.
Well, my mother calls me special all the time, so.
She's a insightful woman.
Oh, yeah.
Before we get to the news, I just wanted to cover a few announcements here. As you might know, Griffin Radio is a proud part of the Grossmont College community. We are always looking for news and information that's important to our fellow students and faculty. So if you have any news or announcements you'd like to get out there, bring any campus-approved flyers or bulletins to Griffin Radio in Building 20, or email our promotions manager at latanya.ramos77@gmail.com. We can always use more announcements to cover what's going on here on school campus and let you guys know what is going on with your school community.
Stay involved.
Stay involved. This freaking weekend, we've covered it enough. I don't think we can. Well, we've covered it a lot, but we can't cover it enough. Basket Brigade of San Diego this Saturday, the 17th from 9 to 5. Right here at Grossmont College, 8800 Grossmont College Drive. Help host a community food drive. Get your friends, family, and coworkers involved so we can feed 200 Grossmont College families on the day of the event. Bring your donations to the ASGC office here. And what they need is a frozen turkey or $20 gift card equivalent to buy said turkey, a turkey roasting pan, boxed stuffing, boxed mashed potatoes, gravy packets or jars, canned corn, canned green beans, canned sweet potatoes, canned cranberries, bag of marshmallows, juice, lots of juice, because you need that to make your cranberry sauce. Actually, I wonder what kind of juice. Hopefully it's not like
pineapple juice.
Ooh, that would be good.
For our alcoholics out there.
Well,
at least for me.
I feel attacked.
That's the only time you'll find pineapple juice in my house is when it's being mixed with vodka or other alcohol.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. I don't know why you would only do that once a year.
Yeah.
Let's see. They could also use pies, pumpkin pie or similar. We've been pushing the sweet potato pie pretty hard.
Oh man, just all kinds of pies. Honestly,
you can't go wrong with pies. Exactly.
You can't. I love a good banana cream.
Bag of dinner rolls, reusable shopping bags or laundry baskets, and or any kind of Thanksgiving cards or decorations for the baskets because presentation is important too. Not as important as the food, but it's still important.
Yeah, exactly. Make it look nice, make it look all fancy, and of course. No pork products.
No pork products.
Stay away, pork.
No pork products. No cloven hooves up in here.
I hiss at anybody that wants to bring pork products.
That works, I guess. If you are unable to bring anything by, you can always make a donation at gofundme.com/bbofsd because it's the Basket Brigade of San Diego. So gofundme.com/bbofsd. The Grossmont College Jazz Studies presents Afro-Cuban and Jazz Ensembles, directed by Derek Cannon and John Reynolds. This oral feast for your ears is on November 26th at 7:30 p.m. for one night only.
One night.
It's in Building 26, Room 220. Admission is $10 for the general public, $8 for seniors and faculty, or $5 for students. Tickets will be sold at the door, so don't freak out too badly if you can't find where to get them online. And lastly, let's do this one here for Gizmo's Kitchen because we can't cover this one enough. Gizmo's Kitchen, in partnership with the San Diego Food Bank, provides food assistance to any currently enrolled Grossmont College student experiencing inconsistent access to adequate food. The program provides short-term relief and offers referrals for additional community food resources for ongoing assistance with food insecurity. Did you know that 67% of community college students experience food insecurity, which is a really nice way of saying they're hungry. They haven't eaten and they don't know when they're going to eat again.
Ah, that sounds terrible.
Or if they have
That's
eaten,
horrible.
it's probably some sort of really unhealthy, calorie empty, barely going to get them through the day kind of thing.
Right.
So that means that it's very possible that the people sitting either in front or behind you, or to your left and right, or to your left and your front, or to your right button, anyway,
Any way you wanna do it.
permutation of that,
Diagonally,
are hungry.
vertically, horizontally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
That's sad.
you can access Gizmo's Kitchen food pantry services, which are confidential, and they may be accessed once a week with your valid Grossmont College student ID when regular classes are in session, inside the Student Health Services Building 60, Room 130, Monday through Thursday from 10 to 2, or unfortunately they're closed on Fridays, but you can call 211 to find other resources near you. Gizmo's Kitchen does rely entirely on donations, so please consider making a donation to the Foundation for Grossmont Cuyamaca Colleges under the Grossmont Food Pantry.
I love it. I love that
too.
service.
I do too. They absolutely provide a necessary service, and I don't think they can get enough exposure.
That's true. So I also never knew that was the name of our mascot, Gizmo.
I didn't either.
Gizmo the Griffin.
Even when I
Wow.
saw the little Griffin walking around, which was, I think the person in the suit was about 5 feet tall during
Yeah,
graduation
just
last year.
wearing like their Converse and
Yeah, didn't know they had a name.
what a dinky mascot.
So I'm learning so much this semester.
I love it. We're learning the good stuff.
We're learning, we're growing,
Yeah, I don't know about
Mostly
that. but
growing.
Yeah.
physically.
No, okay, there you
Yeah.
go. Inches off the waist, a little inches on the waist, but that's about
Ugh.
it.
God.
That's the only growing I'm doing this holiday season.
Seriously. Oh, well, do you want to go straight into the news, or do you want to sit here and faff around for a little bit more and waste more time since we're a half hour into our 1 hour show?
I can go either or. And honestly, I can do.
You know what? I went to the trouble of finding these, so that was a rhetorical question. You answered it incorrectly.
Ah,
So
well, I'm used to being wrong, so it's okay.
Matthew Meehan recalled thinking as he boarded Delta Flight 1949 in Atlanta on Thursday, "Not another flight that smells bad." He bent down under a seat to find a phone charger and instead discovered the foulness's source.
Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky
This is gonna be good.
It wasn't just a smell, he told Yahoo News. It was actually feces, and it was all over the back of my legs, all over the floor, all over the wall of the plane, and I sat in it.
Oh God.
In the initial confusion, he said he didn't know who or where the feces came from or how it got onto the flight. Now, to be fair, when you encounter random poopies in the wild, does it really matter where it came from?
No.
It's not like one is worse or one is better than another. If you have two choices if you have two different turds to decide to sit in, you're not going to go, well, that one. It's.
Oh God. Jeez.
The flight crew said it came from a German Shepherd, he told Yahoo News. He asked the crew for help, expecting perhaps a biohazard kit. Instead, he was handed 2 paper towels and a miniature bottle of Bombay Sapphire gin.
Wow.
He slid past passengers still finding their seats and stowing their bags and ducked into a bathroom with his paper towels and gin. His suit pants and ankles were smeared with filth, he told reporters. He pulled off a partially coated loafer and held it up to his phone in the mirror. "I'm not happy, Delta," he wrote as he posted it to Facebook.
Ugh.
"Is this even legal? This is a health code violation." When he left the bathroom, he said the mess was still spread across his seating area. He asked the flight crew what was being done about it, and they told him to talk to the gate agent.
Wow.
He talked to the gate agent, who asked what his problem was, and he said, "Can I go get that cleaned up so I can sit down?" And she said, "Sir, it's almost time for that plane to leave. You can sit in your seat or you can be left behind."
Wow.
He went back to the plane, and when he got there, he said several passengers were staging a sort of stand-in in protest at the front of the cabin, refusing to sit down until someone cleaned up the crap. In a statement, Delta apologized and acknowledged that the, quote, area around his seat was not appropriately cleaned following an incident involving an ill emotional support animal. The company said a cleaning crew finally boarded after he complained, and they disinfected the area. Afterwards, he told reporters the upholstery was still obviously soiled, and he said passengers laid blankets across it before the plane took off, and then they endured the smell for nearly 2 hours on the flight.
Oh, man, that is horrible.
He's been offered a flight refund for his flight, shoes, and suit, according to the airline, and he's told reporters it's too little too late. He's talking to lawyers.
You know, that's what I don't like about these airlines. They take so many liberties with their customers, and they just think they can get away with so many things.
Because passengers have almost no rights whatsoever. They've
it's
actually
annoying.
had to go to Congress to lay out a passenger's bill of rights.
Exactly. That's what annoys me so much as well. Like I said, these people do not care until like social media gets involved, and they, all their dirty business gets thrown out there on social media.
Yeah, and now this was still a little bit too far out of my age range, but there was a time when flying was sort of glamorous. People would kind of dress up for it. It was an event because it was so new and special. And even when I was a kid, people still kind of looked nice. They still dressed fairly well, but it wasn't.
Did they still have the little cigarette holders in the in the armrest?
That's a good question. I don't remember. People still could smoke. I don't remember anybody actually doing so. But yeah, it was still legal when I was a kid.
That's how it is, man. The airplanes got smaller, the aisles got a little narrower, the seats get tinier, the leg space, shrinks. They start charging you for more bags.
Oh yeah, what was that one terrible site? Was it Spirit or JetBlue or something that was charging people to use they'd floated the idea of putting like a pay slot on the bathroom.
Yeah, they're so terrible. Just all those airlines in general, man. Like, it's just sad how they treat their customers, and it's like they don't really have a choice. Like you said, they don't have much rights. Like, this isn't really something that's regulated.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, it is regulated, but it's regulated by the airline industry, so they can kind of do what they want, set the price, and there's really very little competition. So, but could you imagine going in there, sitting down, and realizing that you've got dog crap smeared all over the back of your pants and shoes?
That's just horrible. Yeah, so that was my first reaction. Like, for some reason, now that I found out it was a dog, it made it less worse for me, for whatever reason. Like,
I get that.
When I first imagined that it was just like human fecal matter, it just made me want to vomit.
Oh yeah, no, I totally get that. For a whopping 57 miles, a runaway train loaded with iron ore hurtled down the tracks in Western Australia with nobody on board.
Down the hills and round the bends, tallness.
Oh, you didn't.
Absolutely. Well, I did a search for train, and I really just got 1,000 hits for the band, which I don't like. So.
Okay, it was either that or if you took the safe search off. I'm glad you did.
Well, it's YouTube, so.
Okay, there you go.
The train was eventually derailed, creating deliberately derailed. They had to stop it somehow.
Oh, man.
Creating a dramatic crash scene with huge lengths of crumpled twisted metal on the bright orange desert sand next to the train track. The train, operated by Melbourne-based minerals, oil and gas company BHP, had made a stop on its way to northwest Australia's Port Hedland. The driver alighted from the locomotive to inspect an issue with an ore car, according to the Australian Transport Safety Board. Here's my favorite part. According to the Safety Bureau, while the driver was outside of the locomotive, the train commenced to run away.
All right.
It was eventually deliberately derailed, which was operated by the control center, and they launched an investigation. The train had 4 locomotives and 268 wagons. It averaged 68 miles per hour and traveled for some 50 minutes before they finally derailed it.
That is horrifying. Industry
Specialists were confused about why the train would have run away from its tracks. That's called a parking brake. I'm going to say it's called a parking brake. I don't know what they call it in Australia, but here it's called a parking brake.
Right.
They said usually once the driver leaves the train, the brakes are on. So there's a procedure for that, they said. There would have been a procedure in place to make sure the train didn't move off. Well, obviously there wasn't.
Somebody wasn't doing their job.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine? Well, there goes the train. It's going kind of fast, isn't it?
That's embarrassing.
That's really embarrassing. But my question is, trains don't really start going fast at first. It takes them a while to build up ahead. Could the guy really not have noticed that this, mile-long train was moving and kind of run alongside and jumped back up into it?
You know what? I think at that point, he just said to hell with it. It's not my job.
So it is his job. That's exactly his job.
Maybe he was off the clock. He was off the clock. He really takes it personal. It's not my job.
I don't think you're allowed to take smoke breaks, wherever the train had been parked. But
Must have been doing something that he wasn't supposed to be doing.
Now, It strikes me that this is a great idea, that they could come up with some sort of encrypted broadcast system to remotely engage the brakes.
Yeah.
Now, I know that that's obviously something that could be hacked and would be a problem, but it seems like there could be some sort of digital function for this. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I mean, all I have to say is, if I was this man's boss, I would be chewing him out. Hey!
Oh, you're so wrong for that.
Oh, thank you.
We are not happy with you.
I saw my chance. I took it.
My personalities and I are coming for you. Oh my God.
I love it.
Pringles announced that snack food is getting into the holiday spirit with 3 Thanksgiving-inspired flavors: turkey, stuffing, and pumpkin pie.
All right.
Dear sweet God, leave us alone. Don't we have enough to deal with pumpkin spice without the novelty flavors of chips? For God's sake.
That's horrifying.
The company said the flavors were the most popular of 8 varieties tested out by a limited audience last year. The chips will only be available for a limited time starting on Tuesday. I guess that was last week. The chips are only available to purchase online in 3 packs priced at $15. $5 a can for Pringles? That seems high.
I'll pass. I'm a fan of Pringles, but this is just unnecessary.
I like Pringles too, but I mean, $5 a can is unnecessary. And really, aren't there enough flavors? Don't we have enough choice already?
I'm just gonna go original or pizza flavored all the time. That's it.
I'll go original, I'll go barbecue, and I'll do the sour cream and onion.
Yeah, if I'm feeling a little crazy. Yeah, but that's disgusting. Turkey, was it turkey?
Turkey, stuffing, and pumpkin pie flavored
That's
Pringles.
horrible.
So you could get the 3 cans and just have a meal. What if you just laid those out for your family? Here,
That
we got
is
the whole meal.
Gross.
Ugh.
Lay's and Pringles, they need to get their stuff together. This is not what I want.
No,
This is not what I want for my chips.
I don't think this is what anybody wants.
When I think of holiday flavors for whatever reason, I don't think immediately they'd go to that. For whatever reason, I just think like peppermint or...
Ugh.
I know that sounds awful, but that's what I think of for the holidays.
Well, they said Thanksgiving holiday, so
Okay, well,
yeah, maybe they'll have some mistletoe flavored Pringles in December.
that is horrible.
Oh.
Horrible.
Ugh.
Some pine cone flavored Pringles.
They don't taste too bad, but they get stuck in your teeth.
Your mouth smells great, though.
Yeah. Once the bleeding stops.
Yeah, of course.
An employee sorting through donations at a Goodwill store in Texas made an unusual discovery: a live boa constrictor.
Oh, goodness.
Tassie Rogers, who works in donation processing at Goodwill Industries, said the albino snake was found in a bin of donations. I was tipping this machine, she said, and when I brought the bin back, the snake was hanging over the edge. I was a little freaked out, thinking, this can't be fake. It's got to be real.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, it wasn't. It was obviously. I mean, it was a albino boa, so it was a big, big white and yellow thing. The Goodwill assistant manager James Murphy said it was unclear whether the snake was intentionally donated to the store. I don't know if somebody may have dropped it off maliciously, he said, but maybe they wanted to get rid of it and weren't quite sure how, or maybe it just wanted to get warm. It was in a pile of clothing. Now, those bins have it's not just an open top, but don't they usually have the little lever? You pull open the deposit thing, set the thing in, and then close it.
Things, yeah.
So you don't have people reaching in and stealing stuff.
Exactly.
So the manager, who's an experienced snake owner himself, is taking care of the boa while officials try to track down its owner. Now, I honestly don't know what the problem is here. You get a new snake, it's just kind of a responsible thing to donate your old snake to the snake list, rather than throw it away and just waste it.
Yeah, of course. What do you need to just throw it in the trash? I mean, you paid good money. You might as well get good use out of it.
You
for
paid
somebody.
good money, and somebody who might have a perfect good snake, I just don't see the problem with that.
I think it could have possibly been an accident. I mean, I imagine those types of snakes can't be, cheap to come by. So,
well, I guess. I mean, but to me, it seems a little hard to believe that a snake might have gotten away from somebody, crawled away, and then somehow went up and figured out how to get into the donation bin.
Hey, crazier things have happened, like naked men flying down the freeway on ATVs. I'm just saying. That's showbiz, baby. That's showbiz.
That happens so much.
I want a snake. I've always wanted a snake. Are you afraid of snakes?
Not unduly so. Like, I don't like to hold snakes.
Oh, okay.
I had an experience once when I was a kid. We were out with Boy Scouts, and somebody's like, "Oh, here's a snake," and he handed it to me, and I wasn't expecting the whole bottom of the snake to be in motion, and it just freaked me out.
Yeah, right.
Because you're a kid, you have sort of a cartoonish view of animals, so you don't really realize there's the intricate muscles moving under the bottom of it. So I didn't really realize that I would feel the snake moving in my hands, and it just really kind of like, ugh.
Ooh. Oh, trust me, when I get my own place, I'm having a snake. I'm having a huge tank.
Aw.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be fun.
One of my old roommates had a little ball python.
That's cute. That is cute.
Well, it was cute, but I didn't appreciate going with him to buy feeder mice for it.
Oh, that must be fun.
Well, it always put a ticking timer on our trips out, because whenever we had to go get one, he was like, "Well, we'll get the little mouse last, because then we have to run home before it chews its way out of the bag."
Oh god. Oh, so they got live ones. Okay.
Yeah, you got to feed them live mice.
Oh, okay.
So he'd go get little baby mice and drop it in there. I was like, I have to go now. I mean, I know this is nature, but I don't have to watch it.
Right. Oh, that's
like, I don't have a problem with the mouse being eaten, because that's
showbiz.
Is that your new phrase today? Is that what we're going to be putting up with?
I'm sorry. That's all I could think of.
Jesus. The cruise ship Carnival Sunshine listed dramatically Sunday evening, hours after deporting Port Canaveral, due to a fin stabilizer malfunction that was quickly recovered.
Oh.
Passengers say the tilting ship caused various messes inside the vessel, as well as some panicking among confused customers. Derek Cruz, one of the passengers, said, "I didn't think anything of it, since it's not uncommon for ships to rock back and forth, but it didn't rock. It just kept leaning. Plates and silverware started sliding off the tables. Then the table started to slide. The glasses and plates began to fall off and shatter. At this point, it was pure chaos, screams, cries, and panic."
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God.
Other passengers tweeted about their experience. "Water ran out of the pools, glasses shattered in my room, and a drink spilled in my suitcase." Horrors.
Oh, those poor people.
You know, this wasn't a malfunction. This was, again, a case of somebody not paying attention and leaving the parking brake on.
What's going on? What's going on?
What is it with people driving big vehicles and just screwing it all up? Did you ever see, years ago, there was a video, and I saw it on Tosh, the Tosh .0.
Right.
And it was a video of inside one of those cruise ships that was tilting in, I think it was a storm or whatnot.
Right.
And so it showed all these chairs kind of moving one way a little bit, and one woman sort of following after them, and she walks out of the frame. And then about 3 seconds later, she comes running back the other way, and all the chairs come sliding after her.
Oh, God.
As the ship went back the other way.
That is horrible. I can't. Oh, man. After seeing the Titanic and that, how could you want to take one of these cruises? Man, you're gambling. You're gambling with your life. You're putting yourself in a watery, shallow grave. Right,
you know, it's not even the water part, the listing, the storm, and the seasickness that bothers me. It's all of the poop cruise stories that keep coming out of somebody who walks on, and they've got some sort of diphtheria or some god awful disease, and then everybody else gets sick, and then they're just it's just a floating septic tank.
Right.
Do you remember? I want to say it was like 10 years ago now. They called it the poop cruise, the ship that lost power, and they were stranded out in the ocean for like 2 weeks, and they were like hanging laundry across the zip line in the promenade, and they had all like the flags outside saying "Help us!"
Yeah,
and the toilets weren't working. There was no power, so they were just basically finding just a couple poor bastards' rooms to do all their business in. I hope they burned that ship and sank it, because I don't want that back in service.
I would have figured just get a couple buckets, throw that bad boy into the ocean. Oh, God.
Do what?
Just get a bucket, get a nice bucket, and just do your business, and
Whoop, well, you'd think
overboard.
Normal people would do that, or
go overboard, or I could just imagine hanging out, sitting at the edge of the at the edge of the boat, just going.
I
doing
think
your
people
business.
were having to do that, and
I don't know, those cruises, they seem fun to me in essence, but I feel like if I got on there, I'd just be deathly bored. Like there would have to be vast amounts of alcohol for me to get through one of those cruises.
Well, I mean, you can. I don't know a whole lot about cruises, but I think you can get those all-inclusive packages in which like the bar and the buffets are pretty much just sit down and stay there.
Yeah, because if it's just like a cruise where you're going across the ocean and you're not exactly visiting certain ports, going to certain countries.
Well, as I understand it, the ships do have lots of onboard entertainment. They've got performances, they've got movies, they've got games, they've got like sports clubs, they've got shopping. So it's not just people on a boat going in one direction. There's usually a lot of things on there.
Just give me my alcohol. That's all I need.
There we go. I just want a big freaking martini, and I'll just walk up and down the promenade.
I guarantee you, though, if I was on one of those bad boys, I wouldn't be sober for 1 second. That's all I'm saying. Would not be sober. Wake up drunk, go to sleep drunk.
Lather, rinse, repeat.
Exactly. That's the moral of this story. Stay drunk.
Mrs. Barrios, are you listening?
Yeah. Sorry, Mom. I'm a disappointment, I know.
A pigeon was simply at the wrong place at the wrong time as it flew in front of a ceremonial cannon that was being fired in Malta.
I fall to pieces.
Footage filmed by a honeymooner, Carl Oliver, on November 2nd shows an artillery soldier firing an antique cannon. But just as the gunpowder ignites, an unlucky bird flies right in front of the path of the powerful blast.
Oh, goodness.
It's not known for certain if the pigeon was killed in the incident due to the smoke, but the footage shows only feathers left in the aftermath of the explosion.
Oh, yeah, that thing's gone.
One of them was quoted as saying, "When we looked through the footage frame by frame, we noticed the pigeon ceased to exist after the firing."
Oh, yeah, that bad boy's gone. It's gone. He got obliterated.
Oh, poor pigeon.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I watched the video, and it was, of course, pretty bad quality. You see the guy kind of raise his hand with the torch and bring it down to the cannon, and the pigeon sort of swoops in, and all of a sudden there's a big boom, and then there's just feathers after a few seconds.
It's nothing but mist now. Oh, Jesus.
Just a fine pigeon mist.
Poor bird. Poor bird.
Oh, that makes me sad now. I thought that was a lot funnier when I was reading it to myself. Now that I've said it out loud, I don't know about that now.
God, well, thank goodness it was just a bird.
Well, I guess.
Could have been a small child. Or a dog, even worse.
Okay, if it was a dog,
even worse,
that gets me right there.
There you go, a puppy.
Oh. Waiters at a restaurant in Ukraine who had reportedly grown tired of two diners' rudeness slammed cake into their faces, and the amusing incident was caught on camera. This song is so god-awful. I hate this song, but it was the best one I could find without actually getting a song from the band Cake.
I already hate this story, though, because what a good wasted cake.
Footage filmed and posted online by an eyewitness shows a pair of waiters arguing with two women sitting at a table in a Guarana Italiana restaurant in Kiev. One of the women can reportedly be heard saying, "Why the F would I eat your cake?" In response, the young waiter shoves the cake into her face, prompting the outraged woman to jump to their feet, with the other woman throwing her drink over the waiter. The waiter's colleague grabs another cake from the table and throws it at the other woman.
Oh, my goodness.
At this point, the two cake-covered diners can be heard shouting, "What the F is going on here?" The video ends with the waiters moving away as the diners are demanding to speak to the manager. A restaurant spokesman reportedly said, "The clients were very rude. The waiters could not stand their tone any longer and did what they did. The situation was provoked by the clients, and the waiters will not be punished."
Oh, okay.
I love that so much.
Those waiters must be feeling pretty good right now.
I would hope so, and I wish we could do that here. When I worked at Best Buy, there were a lot of people whose faces I would like to have filled with cake.
Oh, they have that readily available over there?
You know, they've all got that...
got a bunch of cake standing by.
Oh, who was it? That woman... the like 20 and counting woman from the TLC show. Oh my god, Kate Goss. Oh my god, I can't. Never mind.
John and Kate plus a.
Yes,
okay,
thank you. The woman who was famous for having a uterus, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know how she's got that "I want to talk to the manager" haircut.
Oh,
there were like hundreds of those that came marching through Best Buy. Ugh. If you don't know what we're talking about,
horrible.
I want everybody out there to go online and just simply Google "I want to talk to the manager" hair.
Oh, you'll see it.
And look at the images and tell me that is not accurate AF.
Oh, those are the. I don't want to group all those ladies together. I'm sure some of them that are rocking those haircuts are nice people. It's just, if you tend to have that haircut, you probably yell at an 18-year-old at McDonald's for messing up your order and apologizing to you
for your chicken not being cooked in a timely manner.
You're probably one of those people that freaks out for the littlest things.
Well, I think it's one of those sort of correlation situations where, yes, not everybody who has that haircut needs to talk to the manager, but everybody who does need to talk to the manager has that haircut.
Yeah.
Kind of like my whole thing about driving thing with the dangly thing. Have you been paying attention to that while you're driving around?
I've been looking out for it. And
any results?
I noticed, what is it? Younger guy, looked maybe around 18, 19, driving a car way too expensive for him.
Yeah, wow.
His father probably bought him, like a white Mercedes Benz.
Oh Lord!
And he has the little flag in the rearview mirror or whatever. You've seen those, you've seen the guys with the Puerto Rican flag.
Oh yeah.
The flag. Yeah, he had one of those in his rear view. And all of a sudden, and I noticed that as well. If you have one of those flags in your rear view, you probably drive like a D-bag as well.
Now, are you talking about any flag or specifically?
Just
okay.
any. Whoa.
I was gonna say,
no,
you said the Puerto Rican flag, and then you said one of those flags.
Just any of those flags in general. If I normally see you driving with it, you probably drive like a D-bag.
Well, and see that for those of you who also might not have been hearing however many weeks ago we talked about this, I have a theory that seems to be proving itself pretty reliably, that if you encounter somebody who is driving badly, they will have something dangly hanging from their rearview mirror. Now, to be clear, that does not mean everybody who has something dangling is a bad driver, but it means if you're a bad driver, you will have something dangly hanging from your mirror. And it is spooky how now this is probably confirmation bias on my part. I'm not exactly being scientific about this.
Never.
But it is kind of spooky how often it seems to happen that we have some guy who's cuts in front of us and then slows down 15 miles an hour on the freeway, and they've got a big old freaking disco ball hanging from their mirror.
And they're probably the same people that make 20-point turns trying to park with their rear with the rear of their vehicle in, so they can just drive straight out. They're probably those same people.
Well, just in that same vein, too, somebody out in the parking lot here as well, when I was, they were in front of me, I was falling behind them.
Right.
And they kept going forward, and I was behind them, and then suddenly they just randomly stopped and then put on their backup lights. And it turned out they were wanting to back up into a space that was actually a few spaces behind us.
Oh, my God.
And,
that irritates
of course,
me.
then there's a car behind me, and it's like, we're not going anywhere. I don't know where you think what's happening.
It's like, we're not moving. You're going forward.
Yeah, there was no turn signal. There was nothing to indicate that they wanted to get into that space. So I don't know what they were thinking.
Just park regularly. Stop doing that.
Thank you.
What's so difficult about having to look over your shoulder and back your car up? Jesus, where did you learn to drive?
This is just a speech. Sorry, no, this is just speech music. I was getting stirred by you.
Yeah, it's so irritating. And like I said, the guy with the little flag in his rearview mirror, he was trying to run a stop sign. So I'm like, let's stop these people. Oh, stop them in their Shame
tracks.
them. I really want to get these cards made specifically just so you're a terrible parker or you're a terrible driver, and just throw them in their rear view.
Signed, Griffin Radio.
Yeah, just put it on their windshield right there. Well, I'm not going to put Griffin Radio, but just from
it'd be a great promotion.
Listen to
you get a lot of attention.
Hey, you're terrible at driving. Listen to us on Griffin Radio. Just because you're a terrible driver doesn't mean you can't listen to great radio.
Exactly.
Oh God. There you go. That's a new social media campaign we're gonna have to work on. Just scolding people for their driving and their parking skills.
Griffin Radio, for good and bad drivers alike.
I like it. Oh God.
A man. Oh God, this story. Now, I'll tell you, I'll give you a fair heads up. It's not as gross as it sounds in advance.
That's what they all say.
It's not as bad as it sounds by context here. A man has been caught on camera doing something disgusting at the soup bar that's bound to put you off buying anything from them ever again.
You nasty boy.
Oh, God. I like it already.
Yeah. Footage from a supermarket in Chicago shows an unidentified man trying a sip of soup from the serving ladle that everybody else has to use at a communal soup bar.
Ugh.
The clip of the man with questionable etiquette was initially posted on Reddit, but has since been widely shared on social media. People on Twitter shamed the ladle licker's behavior as gross and nasty, with some calling for the man to be banned from the supermarket. Others admitted they will never eat at a hot bar or buffet again.
Ooh.
One Reddit user who works at a grocery store shared a grim insight on the subject, saying, "We tell new hires never to eat from the hot bar, olive bar, or soup station because this is incredibly common."
Ooh.
The amount of people who think nothing of plunging their hands into a buffet and rationalizing it as sampling is just simply astounding. Another supermarket worker wrote, "This is why we changed from an open salad olive bar to having it all served by staff from a serve over many years ago." Others slammed the person who shot the video for not intercepting the soup sucker. One Twitter user says, "So you videoed it? You didn't say anything? You suck."
Ugh. Leave the guy alone. It's not his job.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I'm not. I talk a big game, but I'm not a very physically confrontational person, so I'd probably do the same thing. Take the video and then post it online to shame him.
Well, with how I am, if I would have seen this happening in real time, I'm not gonna go up to them and be like, "Shame on you! How dare you! You are disgusting." I would just go up to him and be like, "Wow, you must be really hungry. You know, like I'll just be like making like kind of low key snide remarks, like, "Wow, that's I didn't know you could do that." Like, are you enjoying yourself right now?
Just
kind of
scaling the peaks of Mount Passive Aggressive there. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Just kind of passively aggressive. Oh man, I'd love it because I feel like it would make them uncomfortable, or they would make them more.
No, because the kind of person who does this sort of thing in public does not have the capacity to feel shame or discomfort.
Oh God,
I watched the video on this. He wasn't even like sneaking, like he wasn't hunched over or anything. He strode right up to the bar, grabbed the ladle, and just tilted it back. Just took a big old sip, not even pretending that he wasn't doing what he was doing.
I'd have been like, "You nasty. That's why would you do that?"
Well, I mean, as you said.
You nasty boy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Oh man, I definitely would have done that.
So that just seemed too perfect for that story.
Well, that just makes me.
I go to buffets very, very rarely.
I don't enjoy them.
And the food is usually really bad for starters.
It's expensive, and I only end up eating 1 or 2 plates. It's not worth the price you're paying.
Can we all just take a moment, just an honest moment here? Who goes to a buffet for any reason except the soft serve machine?
You know what? That makes sense.
Because we all go there and we'll get a little plate of salad because we want to make it seem like we're having a round meal. And then we'll go and we'll get like a couple of slices of pizza.
Yeah.
And
that's always
some pasta or something.
That's the staple of a buffet, I feel like, is the salad bar, pizza, and then the soft serve machine.
Yeah. Exactly. And there's a place kind of down the street from my house called Super China Buffet, which is an Asian restaurant which has a sushi buffet bar and pizza and breadsticks and all. Just it's very strange, and a soft serve machine.
Yeah, see, every buffet
Chinese.
has to have one.
Yeah. So we all go in.
It's for the kids.
We'll have our tiny little salad. You know, lots of croutons. We'll pretend we'll throw in the fixins.
Try to pretend to be healthy.
Yeah, and then somebody will maybe get some chicken, or I'll get pizza because I like pizza a lot. Yeah. You know, we'll all get some sort of noodle dish on the side.
The stale pieces of pepperoni pizza.
Yes, with no crust, which is just so sad to me. And then we all go berserk and head for the soft serve machine. So that's the whole goal. I think if they just open a soft serve buffet,
I think you're onto something.
It would only need to be half the size of a normal buffet.
Yeah, right.
So
I think you're onto something.
We're having some good ideas this morning. I'm liking this.
Now I want to drink and I want to eat ice cream.
I'm not writing any of this down.
Yo, who needs to? You're recording
I don't need to write it down. I'm recording it. Yes.
Hey.
Oh, there we go.
We're learning. We're living. We're learning. We're recording.
I don't think I'm learning anymore. I think I stopped doing that.
Oh, God.
So, okay, for this story, I need to say again, and I know I say this very often, but it needs to be repeated over and over. I do not purposefully search out these types of stories.
Okay.
It's just astounding to me that these related stories, they're not related as in they're happening to the same people, but they're the same bizarre topic that I find on different websites, not even on the same site. Different, anyway. Well, it just baffles me, so I just went off on that. Were you here for the story about? I'll ask you after this because I like to surprise you. A 23-year-old woman removed her belly button and gave it to her ex-boyfriend as a present.
Oh, God. That is horrifying.
Body modification fanatic Pauline Casillas Landeros from Jalisco, Mexico, underwent numerous surgeries such as a back corset which involved piercings on either side of her spine and a split tongue.
Oh, jeez.
So, she's already a charmer.
Yeah.
She later decided to remove her belly button as it is what makes us human, before giving it as a present to her boyfriend Daniel Ramirez in 2015. Oh, you shouldn't have. And, but what if you already had one? I mean, how embarrassing would that be?
What is going on with people?
Following the removal of her belly button 3 years ago, she says she ultimately regrets her decision, describing it as reckless and impulsive. Oh, you think?
Wow, who would have thought?
I wanted to dehumanize myself in a symbolic way, she said. I wanted to do something controversial, so I underwent an operation. The word operation, by the way, is in quotes, which makes me very, very...
What does that mean?
I don't know. That's spooky, though.
An
operation done by a professional, but he gave me very bad advice on how to take care of it so it got infected. I was suffering. I spent days in bed as if I were quarantined. I couldn't stretch, push, stand up, or laugh. It gradually healed itself, but not 100%, and it never closed entirely.
Ugh.
Even though I did it for the wrong reasons, it has now taught me I should think things through before acting, and it's a nice reminder that characterizes me.
Wow.
So do you remember that story a couple weeks ago about the guy who cut off his nipples and his belly button.
Yeah, I do remember that story, and that one was just as horrifying.
It never... Removing my belly button has been something that has never occurred to me as even a thing you could do.
Never. That's horrifying. Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
No, I was just that makes me wonder if she had like an innie or an outie, because I feel like if it was
she's got a flatty now.
If it was an innie, I feel like that would make it worse, because you actually got to go in, you got to cut the skin out under it, and then for an outie, I think you get a pair of scissors and
hey, you make a good point.
Snip.
Just a little garden shears, just
snip it off. Yeah, exactly.
Pop that right off.
Which makes it way worse to me, that for whatever reason. That's horrifying.
Yeah, because there's all sorts of horrifying medical tools that have legitimate purposes. So I'm just seeing some sort of scalpel / melon baller.
Oh God, that makes me wonder, what kind of person is she, and what kind of man is this that she would think that her boyfriend would want her belly button?
I do wish that this story had recorded his reaction, because let me just tell you, that's not something I would want to open and get that box, pop the ribbon off, and be like, oh, what is it?
I wanted to watch.
Why did you get me a small piece of beef jerky?
Oh God,
that is.
Thanks for ruining beef jerky for me.
Oh,
thank you.
Oh, it's just not good.
Well, there you go. You got a split tongue, and now you have no belly button. So that's one less thing for you to wash.
Well, I don't know. I think it's kind of a give and take. She doesn't have a belly button to wash anymore, but now she's got to get a Q-tip or something, maybe wash between her tongue.
That's horrible.
People are very.
Oh man, I want to see her lick an
awful
ice cream cone.
Oh. No, she probably can't, because I don't. Maybe there's probably no muscle to bring the little 2 points together. So maybe when she licks the ice cream, they just slide around the outside of the
limp tongue.
Yeah,
just to like move her head up and down to kind of get the motion going.
Oh my God!
Man. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to shame this woman.
That's beautiful. It's like poetry.
Thank you.
Just awful.
Well, I'm glad she learned to think things through. I'm glad this is what it took for her to learn.
She finally learned her lesson.
Yeah.
She's been disfiguring herself for years, but this was what put her over the edge.
And I thought I learned the hard way. Wow. I was severely mistaken.
She, split her tongue and cut off her belly button. She'll never be able to whistle again, but by not having that belly button anymore, that's what really made her learn her lesson. That's fascinating.
I'm going upstairs now and think about more comments for tomorrow.
So, yeah. Thank you so much for listening here, everybody. We have to go. It is just after 10 o'clock. We've gone a tad over. I have been your host, DJ Lunchbox, here on Griffin Radio.
With DJ Thunderstruck.
This has been Breakfast of Imbeciles every Tuesday and Thursday from 9 to 10 a.m. Don't forget to check us out on Griffin Radio at our Facebook page at Griffin Radio is 119. Our Instagram profile is Griffin Radio SD. And, of course, you can always hear us again on the Griffin Radio channel on the TuneIn app. DJ Thunderstruck, are you doing your show tomorrow?
Oh, I unfortunately will not. I will be at the remote tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. We have a remote tomorrow. What's that for?
It is for. I'm not quite sure. Nobody tells me anything. It's for something fall festival.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah, but I will be there for setup at 8, and then I will be there for the entirety of the event from 10 to 1.
Excellent. So everybody, come on down to the fall festival tomorrow at the quad there.
Come say hi.
Campus.
Introduce yourself. Get an autograph. Give me a hug.
Exactly.
Well, maybe not the hug.
Maybe not the hug.
Yeah.
Because, you got that thing.
That is true. I'm contagious.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. We will see you on Thursday.